If you're a homeowner or really some kind of end user of the public water supply, I want to talk to you today about one of the things that I've learned from taking a backflow testing course. I'm in the process right now of getting my backflow testing license. Yes, I should have had this done a long time ago. I've always had somebody else test my backflows for me as when we installed them and did things and repaired and all that kind of stuff. But now I'm not making any more excuses. I'm leveling up and I'm taking and getting my own license. And so I'm excited about it myself because it's going to open up a lot more opportunities that we'll share with y'all coming in the future. One of the things that I wanted to share with you that I learned today, which I learned a whole bunch of stuff, but I wanted to make a point to come on and share this information with you. The biggest thing is that as an end user, as a homeowner myself, I'm tied into city water and I use water for my house and for my sprinkler system. Because I use that, it's really my responsibility to make sure I am protecting that water supply. There are some forces of nature out there that are out of our control. But to be honest with you, there can't be a backflow situation where I'm contaminating that water without me making that cross connection, without me introducing something into it myself. So these things can't happen without us tying into it and creating that kind of situation. So because we've tapped into water, we've made a cross connection, it's now our responsibility to make sure that we are protecting that cross connection and protecting that water supply. Now, a lot of cases, a lot of places, especially here in Texas, we have very limited water. And with the growth that we're experiencing, that water availability and that water access is even going down. And so that's one of the reasons we've got water restrictions on how often we can water our yard. And so because our resource of precious water is going down, we need to make sure that we protect what we have. And as that end user, as that person that has a sprinkler system, and we'll kind of focus on that since that's what I do, it's my responsibility to make sure I am protecting what I am using. Now, it's not just protecting it for myself, because I want to make sure that in my house that I've got good clean water to drink, to wash my dishes and stuff with, and also bathe and shower with. But it's not just for me, it's also my wife and my kids and my family. But really, it even goes beyond that, me and my house and my property. I want to make sure that's good, but I also need to make sure that my neighbors are good as well. And then it goes beyond that to make sure my city is taken care of and I'm not doing something to cause a problem in our water supply. So that was one of the biggest things I wanted to point out to you today, is that if you're tied on to city water, it's your responsibility to make sure that we take care of that city water. We have got to protect our water supply. So I'm asking you to be a part of that kind of movement. Be a part of that team that we now take responsibility of protecting our precious resource, not wasting it in any kind of way, but mainly is protection. Now, how can we do that? One is learn as much as we can. Watch videos like this, get a hold of some other people. There's people at your city that you can get a hold of and ask them these questions. How can I do better? How can I make sure that I'm protecting our water? So learn as much as you can, get the education you need to make sure you're doing things right. The next thing is call a professional. Once you learn what you need, I need a backflow device on my sprinkler system. Call a professional and make sure that they either put it in if it's not in, and then call a backflow assembly tester and have that thing tested. We probably should be doing it annually, but right now in the state of Texas, your house is every 3 years. And so make sure you're up to date on your backflow test. Now, if you have a sprinkler system and you're not sure if you have a backflow device, that's another thing. Call a licensed professional, have them come out and find it if it's there, and if it's not there, have them put one in. Because it's our responsibility to make sure we're protecting that water. And then you may say, well, but as long as my valves are shutting off, as long as everything's right, I won't have that kind of backflow happening, and so I don't need a backflow device. Well, in some cases you may be right. But to be honest with you, things don't work perfectly all the time like they should. Take sprinkler systems. Valves, sometimes the diaphragms wear out and they don't shut off all the way. So if you've got a valve that's seeping by, or the diaphragm's messed up and it's not shutting off maybe all the way, it's just letting water by go a little bit, but it's open. Now if there's a back siphonage where water is being sucked through the main lines and things like that, it has the potential of sucking all that water out of your system and now into the water supply. Well, what's happened to the water in your sprinkler system? Fertilizers, pesticides, herbicides, even dogs and cats and stuff can leak down into that where your sprinkler head is, and your sprinkler heads are spring loaded, so it can even suck things. But if all that gets around your sprinkler head, there's openings there where that can get down into that sprinkler system. That's why sprinkler systems are now health hazards, labeled as health hazards. If that water is contaminated, we don't want that water going back into our water supply. That's why we need backflow devices. Then you don't only need them, you need to make sure you're having it tested regularly to make sure that it is working right. That's our responsibility as end users, our responsibility as homeowners, to make sure that we are doing what we can. So that's why I want you to join that team and join that movement. Get the education you need, and then make sure that you are doing what you can. Doing your part, I'll put me in it, doing our part on protecting our water supply. Now, I've heard all kinds of crazy stories of backflow situations where water systems got contaminated, and I'm going to try to keep sharing some of these stories with you as we go on and I go on through this course, because there's some of them I've heard, and I've heard some new ones lately too that are just, it's crazy, and it'll change your mind on how you feel about water protection and backflow devices and things like that. So I'm going to keep trying to share as much as I can with you. That way you've got a place to go to learn this kind of information. But join me today in making sure that we're protecting our water supply, and share this with some of your neighbors and your family and things, so that way we have more people on the same page, on all thinking the same thing. Let's make sure we're keeping our water safe for ourselves and our families, and also our neighborhoods and our communities around really the state, but also the entire country and world. Take responsibility on doing your part, and then I'll see you in the next video.